Air traffic control, this is Alpha 254, requesting clearance for departure.
Roger that. Start clear. Proceed to runway 5.
الطيارة جاهزة للسفر. لازم نتحرك، لازم نتحرك. لازم نرجع للبلد الشمال. نعم سيدي، نعم سيدي. Alpha 2, are cleared for departure. Please take it. سيدي، كل الحرارات وتجهيزات كاملة. ايوه، الصاروخ جاهز ومصلح. هلا تستنى من الكلمة من شهيد.
If anyone is to blame for these events, Mr. Thornton, it is you. Alpha Protocol began here, after all.
They drugged me? Great. Now I'm gonna fail the next drug screening test. They could have just asked me to close my eyes.
Good. You're awake. I wasn't sure how long you'd be under. Those tranquilizers wore off fast.
Ugh. Oh, I think I'm still coming down.
What?
Ugh, never mind. Just clearing my head.
The dose was pretty strong. I'm surprised you're even able to stand.
Where am I?
You're locked in our medical bay. And when the guards find out you've regained consciousness, they'll put you under again.
Don't want that. Any reason why you're helping me?
Mina. Let's just say I'm not a fan of the indoctrination procedure here.
All the more reason to leave, then.
And how do you propose to do that? You're locked in. There's a guard outside. Eventually he's going to come check on you. And when he does...
Can you distract the guard? Unlock the door.
I could. A glitch in the security panel in the hall outside might do it. As long as you don't make too much noise when you leave, you might take him by surprise while he's checking it.
Right, Mike, that's enough.
That's enough? I think that's my line. What the hell's going on? Why did you drug me?
We need to keep the location of this facility confidential, especially if you got kidnapped and questioned.
Is this place hidden?
Very. Not only does this place not exist, but places that think they know about this place, well, they don't exist either.
That's a little... confusing.
Hell of a lot easier than politics.
Let me guess. You're not done hazing me yet.
Yep. I'm gonna ask you some questions, run you through some more tests, then you and I can talk. Face to face. That make you feel better?
It depends on the tests, I guess.
Well, then I guess it depends on how you do on the test, then. Starting with this one. I've been reading and rereading your dossier. Although with your experience, it's more like a pamphlet. Fresh out of Langley, we had to wipe behind your ears before shipping you over.
I think I've got potential, sir, and I'm anxious to prove it.
We'll see. If you gain more experience in the field, you may want to specialize further. But we can leave that until you've got some missions under your belt. That's it. Now I'm going to let you out of the pen here and meet the rest of the crew.
All right. Is there anything I should know?
Nothing you can't find out on your own. and from the staff here. They'll be running you through the basics of weapons, gadgets, and espionage tactics. When you're cleared on the basics, come find me for your assignment. I won't lie to you, Mike. It's a big one, and dangerous. But I think you're the man for the job. Make the rounds. I'll see you soon.
Great. Just like high school. Take some tests, then chat with the guidance counselor about my future.
No weapons past this point.
Asshole Parker's gonna be checking the systems again.
Area's off limits. Use your PDA if you're turned around.
You probably want to change. Go on. Your gear's in the lockers.
Orientation's not mandatory. You can turn around and go back to Westridge right now. Although that might make him upset.
This is a restricted area. The vending machines are down the hall and to the right.
I may be new to this, but not that new. Don't you have interns for that?
No, we don't. You're Michael Thornton, Westridge's candidate.
Hopefully, yes. It was a lot like the Untouchables route. I was fresh out of basic...
Yeah. I'm familiar with the reference. You were chosen not because of skill or experience, but because you're under the radar of most intelligence agencies.
Flattering.
Obviously, Westridge sees potential in you. Let's see if it's earned. So, orientation. You are familiar with the premise of an obstacle course, I assume?
Yes.
Excellent. And I don't need to explain. Up the ladder is the training area. The first test is navigating through the environment without being detected. Following that, you'll be facing live challenges against the agents here.
Anything else I should know about running this course?
Yes. I suggest you do it quickly. And talking gives your position away.
What's the deal with the security panel?
It secures the entrance. If you're as capable as Westridge says, then you should have no trouble hacking it and gaining access to the course. Clock's ticking.
Great.
Your score is based on several factors. Sorting the numbers now. Outstanding. Well above average, especially for a trainee. Okay. You want to run it again?
No, I don't think so.
Very well, I'll log the results. Westridge can complete your evaluation once you finish the other tests.
Did I do much better than the other recruits?
You're the first raw recruit we've gotten since Alpha Protocol started.
Then it wasn't too bad, I guess. It felt a little easy, but...
Of course, not enough of a challenge for you?
No.
Then I have an assignment for you. This one won't be logged.
What? You mean like a covert training op? Aren't you guys carrying orientation too far?
Nothing about Alpha Protocol is orientation, Agent Thornton, despite the semantics. The penalty for getting caught, however, won't be a poor score. It'll be detention. So, are you up for it or not?
Well, I'm up for it. Let me see what you need. You want me to head back to the medical center? Why? What's the file name?
Jacob.
Why use this algorithm to encrypt it? That's like putting an electric fence around a dog kennel.
Your metaphor notwithstanding, the file contains the location of this facility. Something people would pay dearly to have. Thus, the encryption. Not only will this be a much more practical use of your talents, but I think you'll be curious to see where in the world you're going to be sent.
Sounds like fun, actually.
We'll see. Westridge gets, angry with people that bend the rules.
Fair enough.
Did you do as I asked?
Got the data, no problem.
I'll download it from your PDA. Were you seen?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, well, then that'll have to be sufficient.
Now that you have this file, anything you can tell me about my real assignment?
You're going to the Middle East to recover stolen prototype missile technology. Your probability of success is in the lower 20th percentile.
Wait, I'm going to the Middle East?
I've downloaded intel onto your PDA. That should prove useful when you reach your destination.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it, Parker.
We're exchanging favors, Agent. We're even. And that's an important lesson in our line of work.
So when am I shipping out?
After you finish your orientation with Westridge, it's customary for him to outline, in his slow and plodding way, his expectations for you. Then he'll send you to fetch, like a good dog.
I'm not sure I like that comparison.
Yeah, well, none of us do, Agent. But such is the nature of the kennel you've been put in. Was there anything else?
What do you actually do here?
My primary role is intelligence analysis, but at times I serve as a handler during sensitive missions.
So you've been on a lot of Alpha Protocol ops?
Key ones, yes. I was involved in the events leading up to your assignment, in fact.
How?
I took on the role of a contractor, an accountant. Money is one of the easiest ways to track events. It often leaves the best fingerprints.
So you're a spy?
I'm an observer. I rarely take action. But the smallest event, if analyzed incorrectly or acted on improperly, could have great repercussions. And that's where I come in. To interpret events.
Like butterfly wings sparking a tornado? That kind of thing?
Spare me the butterfly cliché. Guerrilla actions, nuclear tests, exposing a corrupt politician, a rise in grain prices, and... yes, the downing of an airliner in the Middle East. All of these things have the potential to create larger catastrophes.
Okay.
Controlling the repercussions of these events, getting agents the information they need to put fires out before they rage out of control, that is my job.
So, what, you're like a political fortune teller? I thought economists had the market cornered.
Yes, it's a numbers game. But decisions must be made quickly. If the decisions are solely reactive or passive, well, then you operate at a disadvantage.
So sometimes you create events.
For political equilibrium, yes, at times. At other times, to give America an economic advantage.
I thought we were mostly mission-driven.
We are. But even you will see the effect that even seemingly minor interactions have on the structure of a mission. Carry the logic one step up, and it shouldn't be hard for you to grasp.
You like working here?
My responsibilities don't account for that, nor should they.
You know, I actually thought you were the janitor when I arrived.
That would either be an insult or an excellent deduction. I'm guessing the former.
I was actually just trying to make conversation. But why would that be an excellent deduction?
Because, Agent, Alpha Protocol can only maintain plausible deniability as long as no one knows we exist. That means continually cleaning and scouring data, masking our communication lines, and protecting our global positioning.
All right. I was just asking. No harm meant. I even take back the janitor comment.
The title fits, and apologies are necessary and unwarranted. So, in short, yes, I clean up after others, and if necessary, I'm the one tasked with shutting this program down.
Shutting it down?
Turning off the lights, putting up the chairs, locking the door.
What does that mean exactly?
This place cannot be found. If Alpha Protocol is compromised, any evidence of the program must be deleted.
But what happens to the... I mean, is there an escape route, or what happens?
What do you mean, Agent? Be specific. I dislike dancing around an issue if one exists.
What happens to the program? Seems like a waste of resources.
You are correct. If ended, it starts again under a different name, with a new agenda.
You sound like you've done this before.
If I have, it's classified. Or perhaps I'm joking. Are we done here, Agent? I think I've answered all your questions.
Some of them, yeah. The others can wait. Hello? Anybody shooting in here?
Agent Thornton. Hello.
Hey. Hey, you're the one I spoke to when I woke up in the medical bay. Glad that wasn't a hallucination.
It may have been. Do you remember my name? Or do I need to write it down for you?
Mina, right?
That's right. Good to see you've recovered from the medical room with your memory intact.
Memory intact? Speaking of which, I don't remember where I left my keys. Or my passport.
Confiscating personal items is quite routine. I wouldn't worry about that. But let's get down to the task at hand. I'm here to run you through the weapons training and test your accuracy.
Sounds great.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. I excelled at the academy. This should be fun.
Well, all right. Usually I get a lot of resistance to the training exercise. Or a comment from new recruits about how their guns check out. and then they flex. It's pretty tiresome.
Oh, guns, right. So, where do I go now?
Just head through the door to the firing range, and I'll keep in contact with you over the earpiece. Head over to the table, get your weapons, and we can begin. Good, Mike. I'm logging the results now.
Alright. Is somebody out on the course?
Darcy. He's trying to beat your time.
Darcy? Who the hell is that?
Our tech instructor. Very insecure.
Oh. Well, good luck to him, I guess. Hasn't he already gone through this training, though?
As soon as he knew you were talking to me, Mike, he was in here in a second, in case he saw you as a challenge for my affections. It's like a cage match with you boys.
We're gonna have to do a cage match?
Not if I can help it. But no, Mike, we don't do cage matches as part of the training.
Oh. So, can I get my score on the course?
It's one of the most impressive scores I've seen. With that in mind, you did so well, I'm wondering if you'd be up for something more challenging. A bonus round.
This course is a joke. Did you scale it down for that jackass? I could walk the rest of the way.
Jackass? Now I'm hurting.
So will Darcy. Did I mention we don't use live rounds? They still sting, though.
I'm listening.
Go in there, and if you can hit Darcy where it counts, that'd be worth a recommendation in my report. And worth some rep with Westridge. And it'd be earned.
Sure, sounds good. Any preference on weapon?
These targets are pretty easy for someone to hit. Thornton could have aced this thing blind.
Give me the gun.
Lucky shot.
All right, you're all done. Head on back. All right, let's see here. Well done. Critical hit. I don't think I have to worry about Darcy coming by again.
Anything else I can do?
No, Agent Thornton. Mission accomplished. If you haven't seen Westridge yet, you may want to pay him a visit after all the training is done. You've certainly aced this exercise.
About time you got here. Guess you were too busy laughing it up from the weapons range, huh? You got me good there.
Look, I think we may have gotten off on the wrong foot at the weapons range.
No, it was exactly how it was supposed to happen. Just a little challenge we like to give the new recruits.
What, like hazing?
You'll see. Don't worry about it. You and me, we're gonna be great friends. I'm glad you finally showed up. Thought you might have gotten lost on the way here. Or were too busy beating up some more guards.
This isn't the only orientation I have to take, Agent. I arrived as quickly as I could.
Yeah, sure. Oh, by the way, not a good idea. Hitting the guards, I mean. The ones here have a lot of time on their hands, and that means a lot of time to hold grudges.
I'll keep that in mind, but I wasn't expecting to be drugged and attacked.
A good agent's ready for anything, Mikey. But enough chit-chat. We got a lot of work ahead of us. Well, you do. I'm mostly here as an observer. I'll be doing your evaluation, too.
What's that out there? A used car lot?
A target range for you. For me, more like a shooting gallery. Head out the door there and we'll get started.
All right, then.
So, Mikey, you did all right on the basic run. You know, that performance wasn't half bad. Almost as good as my record. How about we up the stakes? Take this to the big leagues.
What do you have in mind?
All right, me and the guards, who you already met when you woke up, pooled our petty cash. And we'd like to make you a little bet.
All right. I'm listening.
It's a rematch, on our terms. It's simple. Disable all the alarms and escape the area in the time provided. And you take home the winnings. If you lose, you'll owe us. Got it?
Sounds good to me.
Just head into the range and we'll get to it, Mikey.
All right, then. Tell your team to get ready.
Pretty thorough. Made a real mess of things. In a good way.
That's all I need. See you in the field, Darcy.
If you say so, Mikey.
Westridge can give the rest of your evaluation.
All right, then. You guys must have spent a fortune on the TVs in this place.
You all done?
You tell me.
Now you're learning. I have to admit I was worried whether we'd be able to keep you here after you woke up in medical. You gave our staff a run for its money.
I can't let you train me if I don't put you through the paces too.
Fair enough. It'll be a good excuse to up the morning drills around here. Looks like you did well on the tech portion of the test. Very well. Past Darcy's bitching, there's some real compliments in here if you look at the numbers. Mina's report on your weapon skill was impressive. In fact, I think you outperformed many of the guards. And it's your first day.
She's a good teacher.
She is. And she has a good eye for potential. I'll let her know your opinion. And here's a surprise. A positive evaluation from Parker. On the number side as usual. But he actually took the time to write a sentence.
He did? What was the sentence?
You may have been right about this one, Westridge. For Parker, that's high praise. Assuming you don't let us down, Mike. Looks like that's it for the physical evaluation. Now for the hard part. Tell me why you're here. Not everyone gets chosen for this line of work, but you volunteered. Usually we have to ask.
You ever had an intern position at a government agency?
I have.
Need I say more? All my exercise was moving papers from desk to desk. I'm here to do work, not sit back and manage it. I want to be out where the action is. I want to make a difference.
What makes you think you're ready? Because I tell you, we get a lot of recruits in here, and you're not convincing me.
I get an opinion? Or is that a rhetorical question?
All right, let me be more specific. Beyond the guns, tech, and sneaking around in the dark, there's one last part of this job that nobody else here quite gets.
I'm listening.
Good, because listening is a large part of it. The way you talk to people, your attitude. That's what we're going to discuss now.
If you're telling me I have an attitude problem, then you could have read that in my file.
No, believe it or not, you're not here because you're a people person. You're here because your psych profile says you're skilled at manipulating others.
Was that a compliment?
You'll see. The way you project yourself definitely affects what people think of you, and your reputation with them.
And if I want to impress them?
You don't always want to or need to. Having a good or bad rep with someone can actually gain you different benefits. Sometimes you want to piss someone off so they can't think straight. Other times you want to build a strong rapport with someone and talk your way out of a bad situation. All depends on your objective. This goes for your handlers as well. We're going to be sending you into a lot of dangerous places, and your only backup is going to be who you're talking to on your headset. How you treat them is going to have an effect on the success of your mission.
So if I piss them off, I'm screwed?
No. A handler that likes you too much and puts emotions before the mission can be just as dangerous as one who resents you.
This is a long way of telling me that I should just act the way I want. I didn't realize this was an acting gig.
No, again, there are no bad choices, just results. Over time, folks may hear about you and your attitude before they meet you. They may have a preconceived notion of how you're going to treat them, which can affect their reaction.
Well, maybe they should take the time to know the real me.
If only. Time's something no one seems to be able to spare, especially during a conversation. Although that can be a plus.
If I need a breather to assess the situation, right?
The clock doesn't stop when you're speaking to someone. So if you need to get your second win before a fight, making small talk can buy you time.
But if I'm running on adrenaline, won't chatting take me off my guard?
It can. So if you need to get to the point, act instead of fight. For example, if you don't think I have any more to teach you, then you could just say, I'm done with this. I wouldn't think any less of you. You seem to have the basics down.
Well, I prefer action, but why would I be talking to them if I need to shoot them? Seems like a bullet might be the best opener.
Sometimes it is better if you shoot first. Still, approaching someone to talk to them can allow you to get the drop on them if you get close enough to strike. Use it if you have to, if the conversation isn't going your way. Assuming there's even a way you want the conversation to go.
So how do I know how someone wants to be treated? At least enough to cooperate.
If that's what you want to do, pay attention to the clues in your environment. Sometimes people will have advice, and intel can help. But there's another way. Read much?
Well, I read the recruiting pamphlet. Got me this far.
There's a host of information out there through dossiers, email, and other documents that represent total research others have collected on a target, organization, or operation.
And what does that get me, exactly?
Sometimes you'll spot obvious triggers. People who don't respond well to smartasses, like me. others who respect loyalty, duty, a professional approach, others who don't have time for bullshit, and like it when you get to the point. But dossiers just don't contain psych information. They'll usually have combat information on your target as well. What side they favor, any past injuries, common weapons or tactics they use. Some of it blunt, some of it subtle. But if push comes to shove, it can give you an edge in combat. The more you've done your homework, the more vulnerable they'll be.
So when the guns come out, the dossier can come into play. Have you read mine?
Several times.
You have dossiers on everyone here?
Yep, if you can dig them up. You might learn a few things. Sometimes reading a dossier will give you more options when dealing with others. A few facts to bring up, to shake secrets loose.
What about you?
You should already know what makes me happy, Mike, and what pisses me off.
How do I know when I have the go-ahead to start accessing files?
After meeting a target or hearing their name referenced by someone else, you should have a target ID. Then hop onto the database and start doing your homework. You can usually unlock their basic information at that point. Let's start with a simple one. Al-Samad. That should be familiar to you.
The terrorist group.
Yes, you can research groups as well as people. It doesn't carry the same benefits, but it can provide useful intel in the field. Talking to people about others is a good way to help gain dossier information. Sometimes people will have information on someone that can unlock a brand new thread in your computer search.
Okay, so I've suffered through your interrogation and know how to give one if need be. Am I ready or not?
We'll see. Meet me in the command center, and I can give you a proper mission briefing.
Good, because I'm sick of this room.
Trust me, Mike. If it was up to me, you'd never see this interrogation cell again. Recognize him?
That's Sheikh Ali Shahid, the voice of Al-Samad. They say he was responsible for shooting down that airliner in the Middle East.
Yeah, he got his hands on some prototype Halbeck technology. A missile with a multi-stage targeting system called Jacob's Ladder. That airliner was his first target.
But how did Shahid get his hands on that missile?
Missiles. He's got more. He stole them from Halbeck, and we need them back before he gets any more trigger-happy. Then we want you to kill him.
Understood, but if the opportunity presents itself, should I take him alive?
If you can. Either way, we want him out of the picture, and away from any more taped broadcasts.
If I can bring him back here, I will.
All right, then, pack your gear. You're heading to Saudi Arabia.
Not coming with me?
I'll be there in spirit, and on video and radio when needed, Agent.
And I just got here. Oh, well, I'm gonna miss this place.
I doubt it. I'll contact you when you reach Saudi Arabia.